Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl YayorNayyy, aka YayorNayyy, or if you're feeling nasty, you can call me Melanay. I'm super excited to bring back one of my series called SelfCare Sundays, where you can find me here every Sunday dishing out tips, insights, and just regular conversation about self-care and how you can better yourself and others from the inside out. So feel free to get some tea, get your favorite face mask, get you nice and comfy, and let's chat. So today I wanted to, as a relaunch of Self-Care Sunday, I wanted to break the ice on the actual topic of what is self-care really. So I've kind of taken a back seat on my YouTube and more so specifically my Self-Care Sundays. And during that time, I've noticed that self-care has been glamorized in a sense that really doesn't touch on what it is really and how people can truly benefit from a sacred, strong self-care practice. It is my personal belief that I believe that self-care is beyond the glitz and glamour. It is beyond the aesthetics. Yes, a nice face mask, going to the nail salon are great tools for self-care, but what is truly going on the inside, and are you really tapping into feeding yourself, nurturing yourself, and more importantly, taking care of yourself? Self-care is not selfish. Many people believe, mainly those who are not in the practice or the act of practicing their own self-care, is that they're like, oh, you're being selfish. It is not selfish for you to take care of yourself. It is not selfish for you to put yourself first. It is not selfish for you to be a priority. So I don't know if you've already known that, if you needed confirmation, if this is news to you, but self-care is not selfish. So let's start there and let's continue on. So what is self-care really? Self-care starts with yourself. It starts with meeting with yourself where you are, arriving in a space of honesty so that you can come into awareness of who you are and how you can care for yourself. It does require work from you. You are the one who will have to do the work. You cannot look outside for things to fulfill you. You cannot look outside for things to make you feel better. You cannot look outside for things to care for you. You are the one who is responsible to care for yourself. You came in this world alone and you will be leaving this world alone. So while you're here, treat it as you are. I like to think of it as a garden. You just don't let anything walk in your garden or even in your house with their shoes on, their outside clothes, getting comfortable. You gotta set boundaries. You gotta put yourself in a place of authority over your life. And so I'm gonna share 3 insights that dive a little bit deeper into what self-care is. 1, self-care is a noble act of vulnerability. It takes a lot of peeling back of who you are, a lot of questioning to get to what it is exactly that you want to feed into, that you want to care for. It could be mentally, it could be physically, it could be emotionally, it could be spiritually, it could be a myriad of things, but only you will know, and only you will know if you allow yourself to become vulnerable and truthful with yourself. And sometimes we know the truth hurts. But even while you're being vulnerable with yourself, it's so important to not be judgmental. It's very easy for us to pick ourselves apart when it's us, ourself against ourselves. And it takes a lot of practice to positively build yourself up. But that's where the vulnerability comes in. You can stop yourself in the tracks of when you feel like you're sabotaging yourself, you're becoming super critical of yourself, because at the end of the day, again, it's nice to get outside compliments and reassurance and guidance, but when you're at the end of the day, when you're home by yourself and you're home with yourself, you know, what are you feeding yourself? It's important to see yourself as you are not just physically, but internally. As you do that, you will continue to find more room for growth, to continue to pour in yourself with love. What world are you shaping outside that is a reflection of you on the inside? Be super protective of your thoughts and the way that, again, you speak to yourself. Use vulnerability to help you in those most fragile states to build you up into the strong person that you want to be. Again, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, all of these things. And this all takes practice. So it's okay if you fail, because you can always try again. 2, self-care is based on self-love. It can serve as a practice, or it can be shaped to you as a reality. Either way, it's going to take discipline, commitment, and consistency on your part to be diligent, to show up in those spaces where you need to pour a little bit more into yourself, or you may need to be a little bit vulnerable with yourself. Knowing that life is a continuous cycle of learning and unlearning and peeling back many, many layers of yourself until you discover the true essence of yourself, so that you can love yourself for who you are, and even in that process of loving yourself as you are, to get to who you desire to be and who you were made to be. It can either be a practice or a reality, but I believe that in time, as a practice, it will then become your reality. Practice or habits then shape your reality. It then becomes what it is that you are, you're experiencing. So again, what is being reflected on what is happening on the inside is going to be reflected on the outside. So are you living in a reality that's based on hurt, lack of care, things that are lacking versus things that are full and abundant? Because you are full and abundant. So care for yourself in a way that already is, not less than. And self-care is based on love. Even love in itself is a big journey within itself of discovering what love is or means or feels to you. Love is the highest vibration. So if you can just get a sense of that for yourself, and again, like I said, unlearning so many things that you were taught or conditioned throughout your lifetime, it's going to take a lot of stripping and going back to number 1, vulnerability, of letting go of what you thought was, and adapting and adopting new things that made one feel uncomfortable in the beginning because it's so new. But in the end, how can balance and harmony be spread throughout your life, throughout your being? You're in control of that. So find ways to care for yourself in a way that brings in that harmony, that brings in that balance, that's in alignment with who you are. Going back to our garden, what areas of your life needs more light to be shined on? And this light is coming from within you. So however you're connected in faith or spirituality, maybe you're connecting to a source that is of the highest vibration of love and light. And you can filter in that and let it cleanse away all of what is not of light, all that is not of love, all that is not going to nurture you, that is not going to feed you, that is not going to nourish you and bring in the things that are. And lastly, self-care is about how you see, feel, and care for yourself compassionately. Emphasis on compassion. Compassion and love and compassion. You can't really have one without the other. When you arrive to those spaces that need more care, more healing, more attention, nurture yourself in a way as if you are a baby or a plant. Take good care of yourself. Come with an open heart of, again, no judgment, of purity, of I'm here to help. I'm here to see how and where I can support you. And these are conversations that you can have with yourself, whether it be through journaling or while you're masking or just like sitting back and chilling outside. However it is that you self-care, ask yourself to allow yourself to get to that space of a new awakening, of self-enlightenment. And remember that healing is not linear. Self-care isn't linear. There may be times where you're feeling great and abundant in one space of your life, but still there's some lacking in the other. And once you go to fill that side up, it might tip over and pour out a little bit too much and leave you with nothing as you go to attend to the other side. So it's kind of like, you're trying to be an octopus, but these are all things that are manageable. It just takes time, it takes practice, it takes patience. It takes, again, that discipline, commitment, and consistency. Once you're exposed, going back to the vulnerability, once you're exposed and you have fully met yourself where you are, there's no other room but to love yourself unconditionally. And ultimately, that is what self-care is the act of unconditional love or self-love towards yourself, where you are through the process that life is taking you, finding creative, beautiful, fulfilling ways to fill you up that are intentional and not just a band-aid or that just looks good for the moment. How is this truly making you feel? How is this truly building you up? How is this truly filling your cup back up? The first thing that they tell us on the airplane is when there's a crisis is to put your oxygen mask on first before you can help someone else. You really want to implement that in your daily life and even in your self-care practice. When you are feeling depleted, when you are feeling that you have not done your best, when you probably have, just take some time to put your oxygen mask on first. Take some time to take some deep breaths. Letting go, quieting that inner critic, coming back to your inner peace, connecting to that inner peace, that place of serenity and tranquility and harmony that is already within yourself, and let that vibrate throughout your being. And sometimes you don't even need the outside things such as our self-care tools. I'll just classify it as that to help fill us back up. Really, when you come into alignment with your highest self, or that voice that is confident, that lifts you up, that heartbeat that keeps you going, sometimes that's just all you need. You just need a little bit of your own personal juice. It's okay to sip from your own cup. It's okay to sip from your own cup. And maybe we should do that more often. Is take a sip from our own cup first before we go and pour it into other spaces. But I hope that this helps those who are embarking on their self-care journey, who just wanted to know a little bit more about what self-care is. I know that this information is very different than what you probably could expect. But it's time to have these conversations that are not of everything else, that go against the grain, that are embedded in truth. Let me know how you self-care. What does self-care mean to you? Let me know. Drop it down in the comments below. And thank you so much for chilling out with me on this Sunday. And I hope you have an amazing week and continue to fill yourself up with positivity and light. Namaste.